Milwaukee, DeWalt, Ryobi, Festool, Rigid, even Hart. We've all heard of these brands, and we probably even own a few of their tools. But did you know one of those brands has a basically secret, crazy high-end specialized tool line? It's Rigid. Yeah, who knew? So we basically all have seen the Rigid tool line. They have a small section at Home Depot. Their tools are orange and black, and basically every single person I know owns one of their vacuums. And there's really two reasons why most people own one of their vacuums. One, they make a damn good wet dry vac. And two, they basically dominate the shelves at Home Depot with their wet dry vacs. So you really got, unless you're shopping somewhere else, really got no other option. Now I just did a video, that one, basically going over every single wet dry vac that Home Depot has and which one is the best one for dust collection. Now I thought I pretty much covered all of my bases on that, trying to figure out which Rigid vacuum is the best you can get from Home Depot. That is until I figured out that they had a line that basically nobody knows about, and it's crazy good. Now I've heard people call this the red line, but that's not an official name for it. I don't think this line has an official name, but I think they call it the red line because of the logos. This is the normal logo that most people have all seen at Home Depot or they're used to seeing. This is a specialty line logo. Notice it's got a red line. So I think that's why they call it the red line. So this line is very, very professional grade. It's for like the tradesman who relies on their tools to make a livelihood. A lot of them might be a little bit overkill for the average person, unless you're one of those people who love to get a tool that is basically bulletproof and is going to last your lifetime. So a lot of those tools would be a little bit overkill for me, but there are some that I had to get my hands on, and that's their wet dry vacs, because I think I'm starting to become a little bit of a wet dry vac aficionado. Lord knows I've bought enough and tested it enough and played with enough and broke enough. So I wanted to see what a professional grade wet dry vac actually is and how much better is it than the rest of them. And this is it. This is what's considered a professional grade, high-end industrial wet dry vac, whatever. It's a 14-gallon Smart Pulse, and what that is it means it's self-cleaning. And what a self-cleaning is it cleans its own filters as you're using it. What? Okay, so a little bit more explanation how this actually works. So it's got two filters, and only one is running at a time, and they both actually have sensors in them. So let's just say this one is the one that's running. So it's sucking air in, and it's sucking everything through. And if the sensor starts to feel like it's getting a little bit clogged up and it's running a little bit harder than it needs to, it actually stops, switches over to this side. So this side starts sucking and this side stops. But what happens is it starts pulsing air out here, which is then going to blow all of that dust off there, which will actually clean the filter. So now this one's all nice and clean, ready to go. So when this one actually starts to clog up, it switches back over and it repeats the process on this side. Which in my opinion is freaking genius. It's kind of like one of those things like, why have not like everybody else done this? Or why isn't there other vacuums out there that have this kind of like technology to it? Because it seems simple but brilliant. But that's just an example of what this line is. There's another vacuum out there by the same line it's stupid smart. And it's this one. It's got the motor on the bottom, which takes the center of gravity all the way down, basically putting all the weight on the bottom. So this crap doesn't happen anymore. Damn it. Okay, but this is the vacuum I have, and this is the one I'm going to test. Now I'm going to be testing up against all the other Rigid vacuums that I tested, which again, if you want to see a full in-depth test and which one is the best for shop dust collection, check them out in that video. But I'm going to be testing this one the exact same way I tested the other ones to see if it outperforms or heck, even underperforms the other ones. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, just like last time, we're starting with the decibel test. The decibel meter is again 5 feet away from the vacuum. The vacuum is in the green zone, just like all the other ones were. And we're still shooting for anything under 80 decibels because anything above 80 decibels can cause hearing damage over an extended period of time. And here we go. That is hands down the quietest vacuum out of all of them. That's actually really, really impressive. For the size of that thing, It's really good. So this was a result from the previous test where I tested all of the Home Depot rigid vacuums. The lowest ones were the 3-gallon 5 horsepower square vacuum and the larger 14-gallon 6 horsepower at 79 decibels. And I thought that was really good. So for this much larger and stronger vacuum to come in at 74 decibels is really kind of amazing. And 74 decibels is something that you can definitely tolerate and it's not going to cause any hearing damage. And I think the reason why this one's so much quieter because it has what Rigid says is SNR, which is scroll noise reduction. I don't know what that is, sounds made up. But they should introduce that to that vacuum because that one about blew my ears out. Now the old sucky test. Exact same thing as last time. Vacuum connected to a dust separator connected to a 20-foot hose. The exact same 20-foot hose I tested all the other ones on. Okay, so 15 meters per second is not bad. That is actually really good. Again, here's the results from the previous test, and you can see the red line is just crushing it. Now putting on the same test as all the other ones, I'm going to hook it up to my dust collection system, which is going to go up, down that line, all the way down here, into that hose, which is a 20-foot hose, and we're going to test the meters per second on that to see how much it loses over pretty much a very long line. So it was about 8.4 on that. In all honesty, I was really hoping for a much bigger number, but I don't know if any vacuum is going to pull a higher than 8.4 because I had everything else hooked up and they weren't breaking that. So, and this thing's crazy powerful. So maybe somewhere within the physics of how this old system works, maybe there's a peak on it. Honestly, I really don't know. Okay, so that was the last test, and you saw I am slightly disappointed with how much it was sucking down at the end of the line, but I'm starting to notice a pattern that it might actually just be the line. Like I said, it might be something with the physics of the line that no matter what size of vacuum passing down that much line, it's going to get restricted down to a peak amount, which might be like 8.5. So I'm not really going to fault it for that, but you know what? It is what it is. And overall, I still think this thing is absolutely an amazing vacuum. You could tell just by the build of it and the feel of it, the weight of it, everything about it. Like even the on-off switch is just, it's durable. You could tell it's built at a completely different standard than everything else that you see with like the big orange ones that most people have. It's just built so good, which I think the whole entire line is that way because it's a professional grade of people who buy the tools and they need it to work every single time, every single day. I'm kind of hard pressed to find a fault in it because it's crazy quiet, it's crazy strong, but I'd say one big fault in it is crazy expensive. The prices bounce around a little bit. I mean, I was seeing everything between $650, high fives, somewhere, depending on where you're gonna buy it from. Okay, now before, yeah, I know it's expensive, it's crazy expensive, $650 for a wet dry vac, that's a lot of money. But if you think about it, a Festool vacuum, those start at like $750 and they go just through the roof. And it's just a vacuum. Yes, the Festool does have like a HEPA filter or HEPA bag. This has 2 HEPA filters on it. The Festool does have the automatic on-off switch where if you hook a tool up to it and the second you turn the tool on, the vacuum kicks on immediately. But you can get one of those things separate, like you can buy them off Amazon for not that much and hook it up to one of these. It's gonna work exactly the same. The Festools are quiet and so is this. This thing's crazy quiet for a giant wet dry vac. And that's the big difference. A Festool vacuum, it's just going to be able to suck dust off of tools. This will do the exact same thing as a Festool will, but it's also a wet dry vac and it's crazy strong. Anything you will ever need a wet dry vac to do under any situation, this will do too. Now, one thing I want to say is I'm not sponsored by Rigid at all. I'm no affiliation with them. This isn't a sales pitch or anything like that. I'm just saying this is a damn good wet dry vac or vacuum, or if you want to say shop vac. You're not supposed to say shop vac. Shop vac is the name brand. These are called wet dry vacs. And I just don't understand why they don't push that red line more. It's crazy good. I bet if these things were in Home Depot, they would probably sell really well, or if it was just more well known, I think it would do damn good. Because people out there are spending $1,000 on a Festool vacuum. This is $650. It's better. Now, if you want to see anything else on this line or any of the other high-end stuff, you actually have to go to their specific website and look for it. It's not like something you can go on Amazon or you can go to homedepot.com or anything like that. You actually have to go to their site and find it. It's worth going to just take a look at. As always, I want to thank you so much for watching. It's been so cool doing this. And since about 95% of people click off the second they feel as if the video is over, for the people that are still sticking around, thank you. You are so awesome. I really appreciate that. And until next time, I will talk to you later.